Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what the stock is doing, what it could potentially continue doing, and I'll give you my thoughts moving forward. So as per usual, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my analysis and technical analysis and thoughts and all that stuff, I do have a membership section on YouTube. That link is down below in the description of the video, where you get access to all my intraday thoughts, posts, updates on Tesla and other stocks as well. Sometimes I share like bonus stocks or for $5 a month, access to all of that, plus NVIDIA daily updates as well as the stock, of course, is trading. But with all that being said and done, let's jump into it. NVIDIA closing the day pretty much flat, closing the day at, we'll just say just 143.5, we'll say dollars per share, which again, compared to the market, pretty much in line with the market being pretty much flat for the day as well. So what does this mean moving forward for NVIDIA? Well, like I said many times, I'll just say it again and I'll keep saying it until it's no longer the case. It is overbought. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but it still is overbought. I'm not going to start saying that it's not overbought when, again, it quite literally is. Again, as I always said, doesn't mean much because, well, again, as we have already clearly seen, just because it's overbought, it doesn't mean you can't keep going. I do think the music will stop at some point. I'm pretty confident, actually, it will stop at some point, but I'm not someone that's going to be betting on it or really, shorting it or buying puts or anything like that. I'm just going to observe from afar. I have no issues observing from afar. So like I said, the stock is extremely overbought. It is very, very overcrowded. But with that being said, that's not really a bearish sign. In fact, that's technically bullish short term. It will translate into something bearish sooner than later, in my opinion. But short term, it is bullish because the stock is just on a very powerful momentum. And then once a stock like NVIDIA gets going, you don't want to stand in front of it. You really don't want to be trying to be, someone that just like, I want to short the top. It's very hard to find the top with a stock like this when it keeps rallying. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the bullish aspects very quickly. So NVIDIA obviously at all-time highs. It came down a little bit today. And it didn't even get close to 140s. Like the fact that it only came down to 142, we'll just say, is pretty interesting. The fact that it held in what was an early morning weak market, NVIDIA actually held pretty well, honestly, relative to the market in the morning if you were watching it during that time, which is good. So the stock is very strong right now. Again, this is just not a stock I would be shorting by any means whatsoever because it still looks strong. Despite me thinking it's overbought and despite me thinking that, maybe a top is getting close, who knows where that top is, right? Nobody knows. So the way you want to look at it is pretty simple in my opinion. If NVIDIA ever loses about 140, that's where you can start definitely seeing some weakness kick in, and that's when maybe the bears will come out of hibernation, whoever are still alive, of course, and they'll potentially start actually shorting the stock, and the stock can definitely finally see some selling pressure if we lose 140 and especially close below a daily candle below 140. But until that happens, I don't see why this train will stop. I think NVIDIA is still looking damn strong, and I can't imagine why it won't go higher. So with that being said, the main level to look out for today, which is pretty much where we got to. Remember I said how NVIDIA likes to move in those $5 increments that it has been doing quite a while here. Well, 145, and we got pretty damn close to it. The high of today was what? The highest today was 144.5, so pretty close to 145. So I'd definitely be watching out for 144.5 to 145 as the major resistance zone. If we can get above 145 and close a daily candle above 145, I think 150 is next. I don't see why 150 would not be next because the stock still looks damn strong. But again, like I said, not only is it overbought, but it's starting to show some meaningful signs of a bearish divergence because as we're continuing to go higher like this, the RSI is making lower highs. So higher highs on the stock, lower highs on the RSI. That is a bearish divergence, right? So you want to watch out for that. The only way to counteract this is if NVIDIA somehow goes high enough to where the RSI also sets a fresh higher high. That's the only way to counteract this. But as of right now, that is something to potentially kind of keep in the back of your mind that, okay, things are getting pretty frothy over here. So we'll see how that plays out moving forward. So, just watch out for that. Just kind of food for thought, in my opinion, right? Same with the stochastic, right? A little bit of a bearish divergence, not as powerful as the RSI, but, it is, of course, in very, very, very overbought territory. And remember how it got really close to crossing bearish here? Remember how the green line was essentially overlapping the red line? It didn't cross bearish, though. It did not cross bearish. So the momentum is still there. So once this thing truly gets a bearish cross back down and the green crosses under the red, could be another warning shot, right? That could be another warning shot, but we don't have that yet. So nothing to really worry about just yet. But again, just be clear, same with this, hasn't crossed bearish yet, but once the white crosses the red, same idea, warning shots. That's when things can potentially start flipping bearish. In my opinion, if we lose 140, that's when these most likely will start looking to cross to that bearish side. So just watch for that. As long as NVIDIA remains above 140, I cannot see why it wouldn't go higher, or at the very least consolidate around this general range before maybe going higher after that. But losing 140 will be very, very crucial and can definitely start bringing in some bearish momentum for the stock. Again, I do want to point your attention back to this range back here. Let's just go like this. So you can kind of see both of them, right? You know, massive rally on NVIDIA here. Huge rally, which is kind of what we're experiencing right now. Nice, beautiful rally. Very, very powerful rally. But once the top was in over here, 3 days of red took out about 2 weeks of gains. That can happen, right? That definitely can happen. That's about a 15% drawdown. So let's just say that happens, just for demonstrational purposes, right? Just for demonstrational purposes. Let's say that happens around 145 as an example. That happens to be the top. Let's just say for demonstrational purposes. And let's say we do a similar drop like that, 3 days, 15% drop. What will that look like? That'll look like something like this, where NVIDIA will come back down to my main target I've been kind of talking about, where, you know, I'll personally start getting interested again. About that mid 120s. That is where I start getting interested again. If it doesn't get there, no problem. I have no issues whatsoever. If this continues rocketing, great. I have no issues whatsoever. I hope people are making money off of it. I really do. But that is something to watch out for. The weekly, however, is looking pretty spicy. It is, you know, getting a little bit into elevated territory, but the weekly MACD just crossed bullish back again. The thing that's interesting is the weekly MACD has been above the zero line for ever since, like, what is it? Pretty much ever since January of 2023. So very long time the weekly MACD has been above zero, and it's still all the way up here. And not only is it all the way up here, but it crossed back to bullish. Pretty wild stuff. So if the week can close looking like this without some kind of crash for the second part of this week, again, I think the stock looks strong. I think this is a potential rising channel. These green lines are these red lines right here. This could be potential rising channel that it's in on the weekly time frame. And as crazy as it sounds, if this thing somehow gets really going and just really rockets up to the stratosphere, this thing can unironically make its way sometime, maybe year end, closer to $200 per share, which sounds ludicrous. It does, but somehow there is a potential for that. Like that unironically can be like the ultimate, like the ultra bull case, $200 per share on NVIDIA. We'll see. But I personally only get interested if we get a pullback from here, because I do think short term is still extreme overbought. It's too overcrowded for me. It's just not the kind of trade I like to enter personally. That's just my philosophy. That's just my opinion. But regardless, looks strong, looks powerful. Watch for 145 break up to 150 next. Losing 140, in my opinion, I think the bearish signs really will start to kick in. But all of that being said and done, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.